Hello, welcome back. Next section is I know you've been waiting for this for so long because we, Dr. Prier and I, threw a lot of data and science and the idea of why and what. Now we have the section of how. How do we do it, right? So Maurice Mo Samuels is an integrative nutrition health coach and plant based chef who is certified in advanced gut and hormone health by the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Uh, Mo says, I am a naturally curious soul as to how things work, the universe, the world, ecosystems, people, our bodies, and how we express ourselves. I have summarized using the knowledge of ancestral wisdom in collaboration with modern medical information and technology that creating a harmonious balance in the environment in which we occupy has both a direct and indirect result on our progress, happiness, health, and well being. I'm committed to guiding myself and as many other human beings to achieve this balance in life as we travel on this human experience through my services as an integrative nutrition health coach and plant-based chef. You're going to get a wholesome experience from Mo on learning about how to start incorporating some of the changes we talked about. So without further ado, Mo, it's yours.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. Wellness Trail 2019. No, 2020, right? All right, how's everyone feeling? How was the break? How was the hummus? All right, that's good. So my task here today is to give you guys a break, to let you up a little bit. The two docs were a little bit heavy on the science. So I believe Dr. Siddhartha was the appetizer, Dr. Prado the main course. So guess what? You got your Jamaican dessert right here, all right? So I'm gonna explore the plant-based way to longevity and wellness today by showing to you a few foods that you can incorporate in your diet on a daily, monthly, whenever you eat. It's really just to be cautious, not so cautious, but just to ease yourself into this. It's not that serious. Have fun and talk to your doctor. Always talk to them. They know the best thing, right? So I do believe that there's an interesting crosstalk that's happening among microbes, those that are living outside our bodies, on our bodies, and those that are living inside our bodies, because we're made of these things. They outnumber us pretty much 10 to 1, right? And I do believe that through our lifestyle, environment, and food, that's where the conversation takes place. That's where they communicate. We won't hear them. So today, we're going to talk about food. This is my area, food. This is my story pretty much in one slide. This little munchkin that you see is my inspiration for doing what I do. She was born with a beautiful smile, like every other child would, one of three. But then at the age of 3, things started to go backwards. Later on, we realized that it was diagnosed as an autism. It was on a spectrum. And oh boy, we know how that spectrum thing works. There's no thing to point at. You're gonna have to just travel the spectrum. So information was limited, and I went on a search because I need to find out where this thing falls. And I used food. I figured out food was doing a whole bunch of things with her diet, with her health, sorry. Artificial flavor and coloring were the main things that we took that out. She was fine, and she was my guinea pig. It was already, couldn't find the information, but then I was playing with it and stuff was working. We put back the dyes and the coloring in, and she started acting out. So this was my journey. I went on a very long journey, and Michaela, today, this last picture of us being on the river, the Bass River, was this summer, smiling because of food. I don't know if she's cure of autism, but it's a combination of tons of love, because I'm an integrative nutrition health coach. So it's a ton of love, fixing the diet, those two things. I'm just allowing her to grow. So this is my story, and hence the birth of Motao Integrative, which is what I do. I went to integrative nutrition health school. I did what I had to do. I still don't know it all, but guess what? I'm curious, and I won't stop until myself, Michaela, and all of you that gathered here today get it about health. We're on this human journey, so let's enjoy it, right? All right, so plant-based nutrition, the docs spoke heavily about all the numbers, and as I said, they are the guys. You guys need to hold them accountable when you go to them. Ask them what are the optimal level that you need to be at based on your age, your gender, all of that stuff. They are the ones. So now I'm putting the pressure on them. You guys need to make sure that they keep you healthy, and then combine that with your health coaches, your dietitians, and we are going to be the guys between these guys that are going to bridge the gap to make sure that you get there. So plant-based nutrition towards longevity. We're going to make this vibrant and nutritious, all right? So as I said, the doctors went heavy with the science already. So a diet rich in antioxidants, all the vitamin, mineral, polyphenols, you get all of those in your diet. The studies after studies, I can't quote it like the doctors do, because God knows there are a lot of studies. Some debunk, this is good for you, this is not good for you, but we all have to play with it, because remember, we're a colony of microbes, and these guys adjust to different stuff. If you go heavy fat, they'll adjust to that, because their main duty is to keep you alive. They want to stay alive, so they're going to do whatever it needs to stay alive. So it has been shown that if you have all these antioxidant-rich vitamin, minerals, and polyphenols in your diet, it decreases all the effects of aging on the body, and that's what we're talking about here today. So, and these foods are, as you see here, they're stuff that all of us like, so we just have to implement them in our diets little by little, morning, noon, nighttime, and we should be good, right? You agree? Right. So I'm just going to run through really quickly 10 of the anti-aging foods that have been shown in some of the studies, some debunked, some not, which let's take a ride. Everyone ready? All right. So I know Dr. Prieto talked about this list in his presentation, and there was one question about what to buy, what not to buy. So this group, Environmental Working Group, they release these lists every year or 2 years, I believe. But it gives you a guide as to what food are heavily laden with pesticides and what you can buy organic and what you can't. You can check this list out. It's on the internet everywhere, and be guided by it, but don't be chained by it, as Dr. Siddhartha said, because we have a lot of factors coming into play. If you can't afford it, you can't buy organic all the time based on affordability. So play with the list and buy organic when you can, but just eat more fruits and vegetables. I'm sure that's the common theme that is echoing across the room for today. Agreed? All right. So, longevity food number one, blueberries, which I like to call them brain berries based on the studies, and I know Dr. Prieto talks about that in his presentation also. Blueberries are true superfood because of they're packed with so much things, and they're small. If you can get them wild, even better, even better. So they have compounds that will limit cellular damage by free radicals in the body, and it really slows the sign of aging on the brain, which is why I said that I call them brain berries. They do increase your memories, and it slows the appearance of wrinkles. How does that sound? All right, I do have some up here, but I'll use it in a demo later on, all right? I told you that was your dessert, right? So dark chocolate is another superfood in the anti-aging field that has been shown to combat the signs of aging by boosting memory, overall brain health. It increases your blood flow, but you want to be careful with dark chocolate, just a little bit of this, like a cube. I have a Who chocolate here on demo, so you want to make sure that it's 70% cocoa in volume or higher to get the polyphenols from it. But you just want a little bite from it. I know we humans tend to go extra. Remember, we're feeding ourselves, but there are 10 to 1 microbes there. So we need to bear them in mind whenever we eat, all right? So a little bit of chocolate here and there, not so bad. Broccoli, I think this is America's #1 talked about vegetables, and vegetable, and it's for a good reason. It's packed with vitamin A and C. It's an antioxidant, fiber, folate, which I know Dr. Pedro and Siddhartha talks about fiber. Having fiber in your diet, that really helps to balance out your sugar and how things work. It boosts collagen, which is, is good for skin, and it slows the appearance of wrinkle. You want to get like a cup of broccoli in, but as I'm saying, don't go too crazy with the numbers. So get a little bit in, and you should see some effects after a while. As Dr. Prado said, if you look yourself in the mirror, and then tomorrow, you won't see the changes. So just slowly integrate these things after a while, and then the changes will come. This is my favorite superfood of all the superfoods out there that I talked about. This is spirulina. And this is the main reason why I keep following this thing. I'm from Jamaica, and we're really into seafood a lot, especially sea vegetables. We play a lot with sea vegetables. Spirulina, it's not from Jamaica, but we get it there. It's a big part of the diet. But you can look at all these benefits that is listed here with spirulina. It's plant-based. It's echoing across the room. That's the theme of our discussion. It's a rich source of protein. And check out point number 3. Right? Let me just see if I can get my pointer on it. Check out this part, right? I know Dr. Prado talked about it. Spirulina, in a recent study, shows that it promotes stem cell genesis. So these stem cells, which we lose ever so often, spirulina helps your body to generate new stem cells. It's just right here. It's not fictional, it's right here. Right? So this is the how. You get a little bit of spirulina from your health food store. You can put it in your smoothies, which I'll demo one of it in a little bit, and there you go. You got your stem cell regenerating. It's high in omega-3 fatty acids, which we spoke about earlier. It's easily digested, and it works for anti-aging just about like all the other foods that I'm gonna cover, right? Number 4, I told you I'm going to give you a little break because the doctors went heavy. So I have avocados. Where's the general? There's someone who asked if avocados was okay. So I have avocados here, and here's my reasoning behind it. We're 10 to 1 with those microbes, right? There was a time when these things, it still happens, that they grow in season and then they go out of season, right? When they're in season, we eat it and our bodies use it for energy or for the nutrient. And then it goes out of season, and then our bodies need to adjust to something else that is in season and out of season. That's point number 1. I'm giving you a reason now why you can introduce avocados in your diet and then talk to the doctors just to check the levels to make sure that it's there, right? So the in season, out of season. Number 2, back in our ancestral age days, eating this kind of food, you were very active, which Dr. Siddhartha say if you're Tom Brady. But that's what we can relate to Tom Brady here. But if you're really active, if you're moving around and you're eating an avocado, not every day, but every once in a while. And guess what? If when it goes out of season, you get that break from it, then you can introduce avocados in your diet. But not 2 avocados every day. and then 365 days a year. So that's where we go wrong as humans, is that there's this bulk of food that's here now. While our ancestors, they only had food when it was in season, and it goes out of season, you have to adjust and do different things. So we have this wealth of food that's at our disposal now, so it becomes now our personal responsibility to use it wisely. Are you guys okay with that? Now you have a reason to eat your avocados, right? Spinach, really rich in magnesium, iron, and it fosters good heart health, promotes strong blood flow, and it reduces inflammation in the joints caused by arthritis, which Dr. Prater again talks about all these ailments that will affect us as we grow older. You do see the theme that's happening here today is that if you introduce all these plant food, the body is meant to do certain things. And a plant-based diet will help the body to do what it's supposed. It's not on us. We don't have to. When was the last time you tried to digest your food? It's not your job, right? You eat the food and then the body takes care of the rest of it. So what we want to do is introduce more fruits and veggies in our diet that it will be easier on the body to do what it's supposed to do. It will extract what it needs to, like all these vitamins, nutrients, magnesium, it's in the food. Nature is very clever. Guess what? It's not up to Dr. Siddhartha or Dr. Prit. The Mother Nature put the medicine in the food, right? Nuts and seeds. Skin health. We know that when you age, you want a really nice, beautiful skin. So we want to introduce all these nuts and seeds in our diet sparingly, as all the others, as we go along. Dr. Prados talks about Brazil nuts. I have a few of them up here. 4 per month. As I'm saying, it's just the little things every now and again. Make sure you feel good. Don't stress it a lot, but just introduce these foods into your diet. Eat within season, and after a while, those pictures in the mirror will appear, right? Pomegranate. All the studies out there showing that pomegranate is one of those strong superfoods because it builds collagen for a healthy skin. It acts as an oxygen mask, so it fights that free radicals that are in the body that will cause this oxidation, right? It reduces joint stiffness and pain, heart health, and for the men in the room, it really promotes good prostate health, right? So these that I'm talking about today are the how, right? I don't have to go into the heavy science, the studies. You can always reference your doctor when you go to them, and they will give you all the information, right? Figs, right? I do think that you have your handouts there, so all of these should be in it, so you don't have to take heavy notes, right? I think so, yeah. So rich in all the vitamins, mineral, potassium, and again, fiber for your gut health. This is a really dear area to me because I did realize what happened with my daughter, that we changed the diet, and that rainforest within her gut shifted towards greater health. And I know it's a big topic now. We're here about the microbiome, the microbiome. All of this stuff is out there now, so we want to pay attention to the ecosystem. We're outnumbered 10 to 1, so when we feed ourselves, we need to consider that we're eating for like trillions and not just for one person, all right? And number 10, red bell peppers. Powerful antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, rich in vitamin C, which I think the doctors probably can back me up on this one. Vitamin C is probably that nutrient that if you're lacking that one nutrient is outside of your diet, then you'll probably just catch scurvy and die. Like it's very important, vitamin C, to make sure that it's in your diet. And all these foods we talk about today, they're rich in antioxidants and will help you on the anti-aging journey. All right, all of this, of course, there's no one size fit all. I must say that as an integrative nutrition health coach. We can't look at the different studies out there and they point back to us. They look at an overall picture and it says where things are pointing. But remember, we have different microbes. Your stress level will alternate what's happening inside your body. You know, different blood types. There are different stuff. That's why we have our doctors. Find out what you want your optimal level to be like for your age group, your gender, and for where you want to go in life. Find out what those numbers are, and then ask your doctor, how do you get there? And then work with your health coach, your dietitian, and the community of people around you. Make sure that there's a lot of love in what you do, and you'll get there. All right, so I'm going to break for a little bit now and focus on some demos. All right, you ready? All right. So my first demo I'm gonna present is gonna be the longevity smoothie, all right? Which is gonna be some spirulina. I'm sure that if we can have, yep, thank you. I'm gonna use unsweetened almond milk for this demo today. It's totally plant-based, I promise. And it's organic. All right. And I do think you have the recipes there also in your handout, so you can just follow along. I tend to go a little bit heavy with my spirulina because I really love it a lot. So I use a tablespoon, but you can slowly use a teaspoon each time and gradually see how it has a really fishy smell to it because it's from the sea. And you can also use lemon or lime to cut that smell from it if you want to. Really takes away from that sea smell. I do have the wild blueberries I talk about here because this is what I keep in my refrigerator. It lasts way longer because it's frozen, right? They're smaller and they pack a really powerful punch. Right? I'll just throw some in. I don't have a full size blender here, so I'm gonna use less than what your recipe is saying. All right, but you can follow along the recipe and make it at home if you have a really big blender there. I do have some mangoes, which will sweeten and also will add fiber to it, because it was an unsweetened milk, so then I can have the good sugar from the fruit, and also the mango is packed with fiber, right? I do have some grounded flaxseed that I know the doc spoke about earlier that you can use to get your omega-3 fats in your diet. I use it a lot, so if the longer you ground these and leave them, it will lose some nutritional benefits. So you want to get whole seeds and ground them as you need it, or really pack it tightly into a jar, and then you can use it. I use it to thicken your stews. If you're doing a lentil stew, you can add it to it. It's gonna thicken your stew, and then guess what? You'll get the omega-3 at the same time. So. All right, and I'll just put some of the nuts in it. These are a sliced almond, though I have almond milk, so I'll leave the almonds out. I'll put some hemp seeds in it. But based on if you had used an oat milk, then you could adjust to that. Let me see what else I have on here. The spinach I'll put in so you get some greens and all the benefits from the spinach. I'm just using my Jamaican judgment here and as a chef, so I'm not measuring much, but you guys get the picture, all right? So the mango's the blueberry, and guess what? All right. I told you I was gonna give you a break, all right? This is gonna make this a whole lot creamier, and then just maybe then you don't have avocados for the next few days, right? All right. And now we get blending. So on the anti-aging journey, you see how easy it can be. You pack all these things right in here, and if you have a bigger jar, you can put everything in there. I'm just gonna put a little bit more milk because it feels a little thick. You put everything in here, and guess what? You're on your way to your anti-aging. It's not really a destination because you don't want to get there. And while this is going, you can do some of the stress that the Dr. Prater talks about. So you're doing two things at the same time, all right? All right. Let's see what color you think I'll get. Ah, someone cheated. All right, then look at that color. All right, so that's your longevity smoothie right there. All right, next I'll move on to the sweet potato. Well, guess what? I'll skip that one because guess what? It has avocado on it again. All right. So I'll go to the overnight oats that I spoke about with you guys. All right. So my sample of the oats got spilled on my way here. So demoing it in the bowl, I'm not able to do that one, but I'll just walk you through the process. Am I still okay with you guys? All right. Won't get a suspension? All right. So you want to get a bowl because it's overnight oats, and you want to incorporate the oats in it that you have in your recipe. It's like a cup full of oats to like a cup full of your favorite nut milk. And you can spice it however you want to. I put like cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla in mine, and some chia seeds. And again, you can add the flaxseed in it to get those benefits of the omega in your bowl. You can add some honey, or you can add some maple syrup if you want to go a little sweeter on it or not. And pretty much just whip that up, and cover it. Put it in your refrigerator overnight because we're doing the easier stuff, right? In the morning, it should come out looking something like this. It's a little bit pasty, but everything is there, right? If you want to get fancy now, which, I mean, my shirt says plant-based poet because I like things to look good. I made a compote, which is using the same blueberry, which is one of your longevity food, and also a fig, and also some figs, right? I stew those really slow, as Dr. Prater talks about. You don't want to cook it fast. So really slow, let all of that stuff simmer. You blend all of that. It's right there in your recipe. It's not hard, right? And you'll end up with a nice, it's almost like a jam or a preserve, right? And it looks like this. You can put that at the bottom of your overnight oats. That's only if you want to get fancy. You don't have to do that. But I think fancy is nice. Then you add your overnight oats to that. And by the way, this is good, slow release carbohydrate that the doctors talk about. So it's good for your brain, I'm sure. This is good for heart health. But you want to get roll oats, the less processed ones. I think I need to put that, in the center. Am I okay? All right. And we did talk about fancy, right? So I got pomegranate seeds. So it's going to look good, taste good, and it's going to be good for you. That's a lot of good right there. And I'm going to add some hemp seeds.
Hemp.
I'm going to add some almonds to it. This is just you taking one meal and getting a whole lot of nutrients in it. I believe that Dr. Prado, I keep quoting Dr., referencing Doctor, because he pushed a lot of the science stuff. That like, I kind of like it. I like that kind of stuff. We eat a lot of calories, but most of the time they're empty. So what you want to do here is that you want to have one meal, and there's so much in one meal. Your body is going to feel very satiating, and guess what? You're not going to want to eat so often, which helps with your weight management. So I told you that Mother Nature is very clever. Like, it put the medicine in the food. You can control your weight by what you eat, because then you feel hungry because your body keeps asking you for more nutrient, not necessarily more food. But if you have all the right nutrients in there, it will burn as it should, right? But we're gonna get way more fancy. I'm gonna put some raspberries on it. And it wouldn't be a party without adding blueberries. All right? And that right there is your overnight oats. All right? All right, for my next demo, it's going to be a quick breakfast pick-me-upper. But you can't have this with your spirulina smoothie, or else your doctor might just yell at you, right? So this is like my good sweet potato here, which is also a slow-release carbs that will control your blood sugar and how high it spikes, right? This will energize you, and it releases the sugar very slowly. So I slice them. You can see the slices here. And again, you can add your olive oil. I'm sure it's optional in your note. Or if you're going oil-free, you can just bake them off. It's not really a big deal. Either way, it's fine, right? So you do have your slices of sweet potato right there. And what you want to do is have your avocado. This is almost like your guilty food now that you hear the doctors talk. Sounds like it. And you just want to mash this up. It's nothing fancy to do. You can just get a fork, a spoon. This is a nice little meal that you guys can talk stuff over while preparing. You can get your partner or your significant other, or if you're just doing it all by yourself, just have some fun with it. And then you can also plan how you're going to talk to your doctor and see how you can omit this part out of it.
More while you're doing that, I'm just going to briefly announce something.
Sure.
When you look at the recipe for this one, you're going to see there's a little typo there. The method number 3 in this recipe will say, the last line will say, crush half an avocado on each slice of baked avocado. It should say baked sweet potato.
Oh.
We don't want to do that much avocado, right? Sweet potato.
You see what I'm saying? The doctor had to see that one. It's a good one. Thank you, though, doctor.
Actually a typo.
All right, so we now have our sweet potatoes, the avocado, and now we can put some nuts. I know that the doctor spoke about the fry food, that we like it for the crunch. Dr. Prado again. I keep going back to him, right? For the crunch. You can always eat your nuts to get that crunch if you really need crunchy food, right? That's one. Number 2, you can bake your garbanzo beans or chickpeas. Just roast them off for a little while and they get really crunchy. That's a really nice if you want crunch. Kale chips is another food that you can play around with, just to bake it for a little while, really low temp until they get a little crunchy. And you can, if you want to play around with that, but that's really more of preference. It's humans. It's what we do. But we remember, we need to eat for those 10 to 1, those other guys also, right? So we got some almonds that we can sprinkle on top of the avocado. All the benefits of the almonds. And we can add some spinach so we can get the benefits of the spinach. You can also use, sure in your notes it says you could use sprouts for this. I think it works a little bit better for the sprouts. And it will look a little fancier also. Or you could even you could quickly saute the spinach if you want more spinach on this, because then it really shrinks, and you can get a lot more spinach on that. And then you can incorporate some cherry tomatoes on it, because I like the colors, as the doctors talk about. You want all of those rich antioxidants from all the colors that you eat. Right? So we have that one, and guess what? I need to put something else in there because I like fancy. You don't have to add this one. I don't think this is in your recipe, but guess what? It adds a little bit of color. To the demo. I'm sure that you could wake someone up with this for breakfast, and if you were in trouble, you might not be in trouble anymore. Right? And I do believe with this, you can always add other stuff to it if you want, but we just want to make sure that it's quick, it's simple, and that there should be your sweet potato avocado toast. Right? And those are, I can just move this over so focus, or the camera can readjust. Yeah. All right. Is that okay? So which one of these demos I think we're gonna try tomorrow? Oh, I like that. All of them. All right, that's good. So I don't have to move it. So there you go. Three simple foods that you can prepare for yourself and your loved ones at home. And I'll just have three more slides. I believe I'm just gonna close out today. But I've been okay so far, right? I gave you, you got a little bit of dark chocolate. And I gave you permission to eat a little bit of avocado and then check your levels with your doctor. So I do believe that we're good. So those were the recipes. So these are, I'm sure the doctors covered these in part, but I'm an health coach, so I have to go over. I can't stress it enough. If you talk to your doctors and then you come to me, I'll probably give you a little break with the avocados, but I'm gonna definitely tell you to avoid, reduce, or eliminate these foods. It's no chains out there. We want to make sure that people are free. You should be free to do what you want to do, but then you should also be free to stop doing some things that you know is going to harm you in the long run, right? So the fried foods, I'm sure the doctors spoke about that in all the medical terms and all the scientific terms as to why they're not good for you. The ultra processed, the sweetened beverages, I do believe that based on the studies that are out there now, that it's America's #1 problem, and it's spreading right across the globe. These sweetened beverages, they're in everywhere, and they're cheap. They're so cheap. So people tend to eat more of that, but then in the long run, they're not so good for you. The meat, the dairy, and sugar, the studies are out there. The doctors spoke about it, so we want to make sure that we watch these. Avoid, reduce, or eliminate as much as possible. All right? Then, these are the things that I like to talk about, which is nutrition off the plate, because this topic doesn't get talked about a lot. We want to make sure that we move. I spoke about our ancestors, and they move a lot. They didn't have a choice because food was a thing that wasn't at their disposal as we now have it. So they had to go for the food wherever it was. So they didn't have gym membership. There wasn't any yoga back then. All this fancy stuff that we have now, I guess they had to go for the food, and that was their exercise. They had to lift stuff, which is strength training coming into play with that. These are the two main uh, methods, I believe, now that they talk about that you can use to get to that anti-aging feel. I can give you a quick tip, if you don't mind. Like my strength training exercise is pretty easy because I try to find the laziest way to do the most effective things. All right? This is my strength training exercise. And if you do believe that time is of the essence, try to do this for 5 minutes. All right? So it's just being on your arms, it's planks. And you can do 1 minute at a time and slowly bring that, but just do a little bit of it every day and then watch your body in that mirror or see how you feel. Or when you do visit your doctors, watch the numbers. Go up if it's supposed to go up and watch those come down if they're supposed to come down, all right? Meditation and breathing. So before we move, now we don't move. This is we want to strike that balance, right? Make this a daily practice where we just sit and meditate and watch what our bodies do for us. We need to make sure that we're engaging in fulfilling work. What we do on a daily basis, make sure that we're enjoying those activities. Meaningful social connections, these are the common. This is a common ingredient in all the blue zones that we see, that people live longer because they have a group that they get together and they can discuss. And you get together, you discuss. In some of the blue zone, they drink a lot. They smoke, but then there's something happening with this social connection. We're not giving anyone a permission to go smoke and drink, but they do have this thing with the social connection when you do get together as people, that it really gets us places. So we want to make sure that you have good friends. That's all I'm saying. Get some good friends. You can share stuff, learn from, laugh, and grow together, all right? Sound good? All right. Sleep. I'm sure I was outside the room when the doctor maybe covered this part, but sleep is so, so, so important. Your body does a lot of things while you're sleeping, and it's good for us. We don't know, but it's okay that we don't know. But we get a chance your body get a chance to do a lot of things. A lot of things get fixed, repaired, and that's where all your memories, I believe, that get solidified with all the things that you do during the day, that all those memories get to move into place, and those that are not very vital get to move out of place, right? So, with all the science that has been discussed here today, all the numbers that you've heard about, all the recipes, I really just want to close by saying, really just relax and don't take life too serious. Make sure you have fun. Revisit that child that is within you and see change really as an adventure. You know, go on that, when you were a kid, that jump in the mud puddle, you scrape your arm, you rub it off, and you're gone again, right? See it as an adventure, try it on, and if it doesn't fit, take it off. You know, but try stuff. And really don't take life too serious. I say trust your gut feelings. That's my motto. And when you trust your gut feelings, it will really bring about meaningful human experiences. And that's my presentation for today. Thank you.